Here. Commissioner Dubnik.
Here.
And Judge Garza is absent.
And we have a quorum.
No, sir.
All right. Item number 1.
I move to approve and authorize the county judge to sign the Texas Association of Counties Workers' Compensation Renewal Agreement and questionnaire for the plan year of 2026.
I'll second that. Morning.
Good morning. This is the same that's been every year. We're not changing our coverage at all.
I have a couple of questions, and I know you weren't quite prepared to be here, so I need to address them to Desiree some other time. You can tell me.
Okay.
But under insect control, last year, or current year, we have 5 employees. Next year, it shows we're going to have 4 employees, but the salary line went up by $17,000. Does the auditor's office or anyone know why that is?
I don't have anything with me on that, Commissioner, but we do have the salary increases, the COLA and the other, not that that would be $17,000.
Does he not use some part-time?
He uses a
mosquito
lot of
player?
part-time, and that could possibly be part of it.
Okay.
Well, but, I mean, it looks like maybe he's reducing the part-time even if there's only 4 this year.
Yeah.
Because this is anticipation of what the rates would be, so this is what we've got in the budget for next year.
Okay. Because the same happened in the vet hospital and animal control. It went down by 1 employee and the salary line went up $16,000. But I'll get that information.
Okay, we can review that with Tana.
Okay.
She's out this week, but next week we can review that.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo? Aye. Commissioner Dubnik?
Aye.
Item number 2.
I move to approve and authorize county judge to sign Texas Association of Counties Liability Renewal Agreement and questionnaire for plan year 2026.
I'll second that.
I have one question. Is
Okay,
Michael
no,
Brooks-
that would be, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. What was it?
No, I was just gonna say this is the same plan that we have. We've just, the questionnaire and just to renew the plan.
It says we have 2 law enforcement watercrafts.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
When do we have the second?
We've
Long time.
always had 2 as long as I've been here.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Cheney?
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline?
Aye.
Commissioner Russo? Aye. Commissioner Dubnik?
Aye.
Item number 3.
I move to accept the Aransas County Annual Financial Report for the year ended December 31st, 2024, as presented by Crow LLP, Certified Public Accountants.
I'll second that.
Yes, we have Representative Michelle Blackmore. I can't remember what your last Blackside. She's on the Zoom link for us, and she's going to share her screen and discuss the report.
Are you there?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Can you all just let me know if you see my screen?
And Jackie, we'll get after it's approved.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Once it's approved, then they will do a final on it.
Good morning. Can you hear us?
Very, very faintly.
We can hear you now. We weren't hearing anything.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and start, and then at the end, I will certainly open up for any questions that anyone may have. This morning, I just wanted to thank you for your time to present to you the December 31st, 2024 audit for the county. I am Michelle Blackstock. I'm an audit partner with Crow. This is actually my 2nd year that I have served the county for the audit. Very quickly, we just kind of wanted to go through some of the risks and the testing and the risk assessment that we completed. And of course, one of the big risks is financial reporting. There's always an identified risks about management override of your controls that are in place. We consider this a pervasive risk, and therefore we are reviewing it constantly. And it's a high risk. And one of the things that we do is we do a deep dive in journal entry testing to make sure that all of your controls are in place. There's proper review and segregation of duties. Very quickly, at a high level, the results of services and then also the use of specialists that we just wanted to communicate with you. We have provided our audit opinion for the audit of the financial statements. It's considered an unmodified opinion, which means that it is a clean opinion. We also present our opinion on auditing under the government auditing standards. It is in the internal controls over financial reporting. We have reported 2 material weaknesses. These are continuing weaknesses from the prior year, and I will go into detail a little bit more in just a few slides on that. We've also presented our audit report on the federal single audit, and that is also an unmodified report, which means that it is also clean. During our audit procedures, we used the specialists. There were actually 2 of those, and it relates to the pension agent multi-employer, what we call a PERS plan with the Texas County and District Retirement System. Those 2 were Milliman Inc., which is the actuary for that particular PERS, and then also KPMG LLP, and they're the independent service auditors for the report. So we relied on their services and the reports that we obtained. Some of the required communications that we're responsible to share with you, there were no changes in accounting principles during the year. Other information that's included in your financial statement report is what we would consider the introductory section, and that's just the list of elected and appointed officials. Circumstances that would affect the form and content of the audit report, there are none. Engagement with or disagreements with management on any type of financial, accounting, or reporting matters, there were none. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. We did not identify any corrected misstatements that needed to be made. There were 3 identified misstatements that we noted, and those have to do with the general fund tax revenue. It was overstated by about $373,000 related to optional county sales tax and then the healthcare sales tax. Airport fund and lease for a hangar in the amount of $137,000. That was actually entered into in 2023. That should have been included in the lease schedule in the prior year, but we added it in the current year. And then also with regard to the airport fund, with a pension deferred outflow of resources, and that was only about $34,000, and actually related to a change in the allocation percentage from one year to the next. And we just bring those to your attention. Those were considered immaterial to the financial statements taken as a whole. Management agreed with that, and those were not posted. There were no major issues discussed with management prior to the engagement. We're not aware of any consultations with other accountants, and there were no difficulties in performing our audit. And we noticed no material errors, irregularities, or illegal acts. And then once again, we did have 2 material repeat findings that we'll get to. We will be asking for a representation letter that will be provided to us before we actually release the financial statements. And then the significant estimates, we kind of mentioned this before, but the pension-related assumptions, those were driven by the actuarial report for the PERS, and then also the useful life of capital assets. Then looking at material weaknesses, these were concentrated or focused in the internal control over financial reporting. It has to do with the monthly closing process. And we just recommend that the county establish formal month-end closing procedures for those monthly reconciliations of detailed subsidiary ledgers, and then a management review of those. And then also with regard to restricted funds, there were deficit cash balances in the grants projects fund and also the downtown anchor courthouse at year end. And we just recommend that the county reimburse the Waterway Restoration Fund as funds become available, and also to ensure that approval procedures are in place for the use of those restricted funds. As part of our audit, we take into consideration any type of fraud considerations. We do this by several different means. Some of that is detailed inquiry with management and also employees about risks of material fraud. We ask those hard questions if they're aware of any or any potential fraud that they know about. We also consider unusual or unexpected relationships that have been identified when we're performing any type of procedures that were done. We noted none. Consideration of whether or not fraud risk factors exist, and then if there's any other information gathered during the audit that we became aware of, and none were noted. We also, I believe that I had mentioned this, we do a deep dive on an examination of the journal entries and other the adjustments, just to see, we kind of look at any type of journal entries that are made with whole dollar amounts, and then sometimes if there's entries that are booked on the weekend, because not many people work on weekends, so we do take a look at some of those items as well. Review accounting estimates. I think we kind of touched on that and what we look at there. Any type of business rationale of significant unusual transactions, and then also review of the revenue for proper cutoff. Just to let you know that in our procedures, if we were to find any type of fraud issues, we would certainly have those discussions immediately with management. If we felt that there was any issues related to fraud and it involved management, then we would certainly come directly to you all to have those discussions. Another part of our communication is with regard to independence. We do perform certain procedures that we have to bear in mind for our independence, and those are: we assist the county with the preparation of their financial statements. That also includes the statement of expenditures of the federal awards. And we also assist with the input of the data collection form, and that has to go to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, and that's how we report the results of the single audit. All of these services are overseen by management, mostly by Jackie. So she does her detailed review for us when we're doing those services for you. We do take that into consideration, but would like to report that in accordance with the AICPA's Code of Professional Conduct, we have not identified anything that would impair our independence with the county. And just on a high level about anything that's new that we have to do as far as accounting pronouncements. In the current year, there were 2 accounting pronouncements that were released by the Government Auditing Standards Board, and it was 100 related to accounting changes and error of corrections. There was it was implemented by the county, but there was no impact. And then as far as GASB 101 related to compensated absences, this was also implemented by the county, and there was no impact that was deemed material to the financial statements. So next, I just wanted to go into a very high level of the financial statements themselves and an overview. First, I just wanted to talk about the governmental activities. I believe that these are on page 12 and 13 of your draft financial statements that have been included in the agenda package. First, we wanted to look at the statement of net position and discuss that the assets and deferred outflows exceeded the liabilities and deferred inflows. And that resulted in a net position of $97.3 million. 22.1 million, or about 23% of the net position, represents resources that are subject to external restrictions to the county. There was an increase in the net position of 27.5 million compared to 24.2 million in the prior year of 2023. And the revenues increased 1.8 million compared to 2023. And most of this is due to an increase in property and sales tax receipts. The expenses decreased by approximately $1.5 million compared to 2023, mostly as a result of decline in road and bridge and other public transportation activities. Next, we wanted to focus on and look at the business type activities. And once again, here the assets, deferred outflows exceeded liabilities and deferred inflows. And that resulted in a net position of $2.8 million at the end of the year, of which $2.5 million or 89% represents net investments in your capital assets. There was a decrease in net position of $636,000 compared to a decrease of $958,000 in 2023. Those results were driven by an increase in the revenues of $167,000, and that was mostly due to an increase in fuel and transfer station sales. And then there was a slight decrease in the expenditures of $155,000 compared to 2023, and that was also largely due to a decrease in airport and commissary expenses. Just a quick look at the capital assets and long-term debt of the county. Capital assets were $103.5 million at the end of the year, which is an increase of $27 million. And most of that related to street and drainage, as well as downtown courthouse projects. And then on the long-term debt, there's $21.2 million in bonds, leases, subscription, and certified obligations, as well as $417,000 for the compensated absences. And we had talked about that earlier. Clearly, that's not material to the financial statements as a whole. And then also $820,000 related to the net pension liability. And looking at the notes, I would usually go through if there was anything of significance that was not consistent with the prior year, or if there's any type of new disclosures that we would need to highlight under the GASBs that were implemented during the year. But there are no, everything is very consistent with the prior year. And looking to the single audit report, the county expended $28.1 million of grant awards. And of that amount, there were 3 major programs that we tested in 2024. The largest major program that was expended that we looked at was $20.8 million, and that related to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development under the Community Development Block Grants. And that's all I had as far as a formal presentation. If there are any questions.
I have just a couple. On the compensated absences, is that for sick leave and vacation pay that's on the book?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and when you talked about the funds that were overdrawn, one of them courthouse fund and a couple of others, if they are overdrawn, isn't it better to show them as overdrawn? I didn't understand your rationale there where you talked about that and the Waterway Restoration Fund.
I believe that in the MD&A section, the Management Discussion Analysis section, and Jackie may be able to help me a little bit here, but both of those are.
I can answer the question. On what they were talking about is with actually the capital funds, we use water restoration to cover that. We do, in fact, move the money back over. It's just a temporary loan that we do to show that we use those funds to cover that. Basically recognizing what we were doing by leaving it and letting the others cover it, we've actually shown that in the statement, as well as the downtown anchor, where we use general funds or other funds to, not just general fund, to cover that. And we also reverse that at the end of the year. So, but that's why you always see the deficit. We cover it, and we recognize that in these financial statements as a loan from the other departments or the other funds. But in essence, we'll reverse that so that it will always show that it's a deficit until we've gotten it taken care of.
And Jackie, I guess the question I have, we did pass the tax note for the $6 million, and that'll help offset.
It will help offset some of the but very little. Most of that is for future but we also, so we wouldn't increase our deficit anymore. But we also are anticipating, or we, you know, if we do not have insurance funds by the time the project is closed, then FEMA will come in and reimburse us approximately $4 million. So, but I would also like to respond, and actually thank Michelle very much for the report. The two weaknesses that were reported were ones that were reported in '23, and we did pass those policies, but we did not pass them until December of '23. Actually, 24, August 24 when we passed those policies. So in discussing this with the auditors, they said because we didn't do it until the end of the year that they would still have to put it in here, but it has been responded to. It has been taken care of. And I believe I know I've already sent in the responses that you are requiring. Did you need something else, Michelle?
No, ma'am, that was all we needed.
Okay, I just wanted to let y'all know, because we already had this discussion with the auditors a couple of weeks ago, that they had to keep it in this report because it was December of '24 before the policy was adopted, but it has been recognized and has been taken care of.
So overall, it's a very good report. I only have one suggestion. On page 11, you have the wrong address for the courthouse, and I know that we're kind of a moving target as far as our address, just that when,
I have already told
Okay.
them, and they've already corrected that.
All right,
It just didn't get done before y'all got your copy.
but overall, very good auditing team.
Thank you.
I think this report is actually complimentary of the whole county, all the departments and everybody.
Yes, it is.
Because-
Everybody worked really hard. And I do want to recognize Crow because they have been really awesome to work with. I mean,
Very thorough.
very thorough, and just really awesome. And they've promised me next year they'll get to it faster.
It'll be done sooner than the day before.
Yes.
Well, and I thank you very much, Jackie, and your team is amazing and awesome. And thank you also for your patience. This was the first year that we actually converted all of the county's audit into some new systems. So that was a little bit cumbersome for us. But our plan is that we will have the same team for next year. We plan to start at the end of April and all of the month of May. We will provide a detailed timeline to Jackie, and then we will put together a client service plan that we will be presenting to Judge Garza to make sure that we're all accountable, and our goal would be to issue in June.
This
Great.
this is one thing that, and I have said to the auditors, this is our report card. This is what shows that we're actually doing our job. So it's very important to us, number one, to do the job right, but number two, to make sure that the auditors have the information that they're asking for, so that we can get, you know, a good report card.
And the
We
key
like
is
to
having
clean
it in a timely manner.
Yeah.
That's
Look
very,
more
very
next-
good.
Yes, I mean, we try very hard to get them the information as soon as they ask for it, so they're not having to wait on us, and I think it's important that we do that. So, it's been a really good working relationship.
Were we going to go over the single audit reports too, or just the main?
That, part of what
That
she
was-
did was
Oh,
go
okay.
over the single audit.
I
But if
didn't
you
have any questions on
you
that
can come
one.
by the office.
Surprisingly enough, I had no question.
Oh,
So are we
vote
done?
to accept.
vote, yeah.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
All right.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Item number 4.
I move to approve authorizing the county judge to execute Resolution R-36-2025, settlement documents to participate in the new national opioid settlement with Purdue and the Sackler family, and authorize the county judge to sign.
Second.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
I had something I wanted to
Okay.
say. I'll vote aye, but on K1, they don't have our address in there. They have Judge Garza's name, and then they have 2740, and that's all, under Exhibit K. On page K1. Just, when it's being implemented to make sure that that's in there.
Yes,
But
ma'am,
for
we
my-
will. Yeah, I did notice that too. We will complete that and make sure before we send it.
Okay, thank you.
Page K1.
Yes.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Number 5.
I move to approve ratifying the county judge's signature on Resolution R-37-2025 to execute documents to participate in the new National Opioid Secondary Manufacturers Settlement to include 8 opioid manufacturers: Alvogen, Amneal, Apotex, Hikma, Indivior, Millen, Sun, Zydus, and to authorize the county judge to sign the documents.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
All right. Item number 6.
I move to approve, I move to approve to declare the surplus trailer as a surplus item to be sold at in auction.
I'll second that.
This trailer was, when the auctioneer went through and looked at the stuff that we were putting in, noticed this trailer and it's past its useful life, it's rusted and stuff, and he said it will sell. So we are asking to go ahead and put that on the list of surplus items. It's an old, one of the big containers. And they said that it will sell. People buy them to put out on their hunting leases, so he recommended that we go ahead and surplus it so we can put it into the auction also.
What will we use for future?
We have several. We've actually
Oh,
replaced
okay.
it. It is empty. We don't even use it anymore because of the state that it's in.
Okay,
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
You got a motion?
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Cheney,
Aye.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.